as a assistant director and as chorus, and he knows the group and the flavor of this group, so it's a good fit.
Mm-hmm. And actually, Rick, you are right. He was also vice president for a short time in there.
Okay, I thought so.
So he knows all sides of the choir.
When you was there a period where you were not with this choir? And then if so, what were you doing at that point?
There was. I was here. I lived in Cranford. I lived in Westfield. I was a member of the choir from 2006 to 2010, and then I was on the board in 2010. And I also relocated to New York City, something I always wanted to do. So I was not a singer at that time. And when I had always stayed in touch with the group, followed them, been connected with them, remained friends with them. And when I heard that Sean Berg was departing, I felt like it was a great opportunity for me to get reconnected again. And so I applied for the position, and here I am.
What are some plans for the future? And I also know that you guys do things like blood drives and such. I'm interested in the activities of the choir in general in the community, and also what are some of your future plans, especially this year, which seems to be very eventful.
Yeah, so musically, I can tell you that my predecessor and the directors that came before him have set a high standard in terms of not only the quality we perform, but the diversity. So my plan is to continue to challenge the heck out of this group and raise the bar higher and higher every year musically. I know it's important for us to be a community choir. What makes a community choir different than, say, a church choir or something like that is that we bring all walks of life, all religious beliefs, all financial backgrounds, and it's important to us to be connected. So in addition to things like the blood drive, we have a gala coming up celebrating our 75th anniversary.
Singers organization, I would like to welcome you to the 75th anniversary gala. We are looking forward to seeing a special piece on our own local TV 35 who are here with us tonight. Tonight, and 75 years in the making, we are excited and proud to share with all of you the new logo of the Celebration Singers. As you notice, the word singers is done in a basic font, which represents the singers or membership as the foundation of this organization. The word celebration is bigger and in a more expressive way, as we are demonstrating how important it is to us to celebrate our music and our organization that we can share with our audiences.
We have special benefits we do for the community. There was a couple local, I was going to say gigs, a couple local performances we do for people that are in need to cover money. When we had Katrina, we worked with the high school and did that. When we had Katrina, we were in Carnegie Hall working with the University of Tennessee. I don't remember.
Perhaps I do not remember.
So we've been in Carnegie Hall assisting other people and other directors. We're doing a number, it was arranged by John Levitt, and we've sang with him as the bass of the group, where he pulled in other small choirs and sang. We've been in the National Cathedral. We've, until Sean Berg had to leave, we did adjust our schedule for tours, and we do like the idea of going to Europe, and we've done that a couple times and really represented this community and the country quite well. So I'm looking forward to continuing that with Sean and Carroll.
Will you be going on any tours?
Certainly, I would love to. You know, there's a lot of moving parts with that. I know that the group loves to do that, and I'm certainly open to it, and I believe the board is open to it. But certainly, there's a lot of planning and whatnot that has to be involved.
How is it funded when you go on tours like into Europe and so on?
That's personal funding by the individuals going on the tours. In the past, we've had the first tour that we went on in 2008, we actually had a member scholarship over $10,000 for people to go. So people that would have never had that opportunity did get that. But in general, it is personal funding.
Just do the second page. So this is where we come back in on Jumbo, Jumbo, Buana, the second time through. And keep it nice and bright, and move your body a little bit. Okay? This is a song of welcome. It's a song of we're glad you're here. Welcome to our country, or in this case, it's going to be welcome to our gala, welcome to our concert, whatever the case is. We want that to come through. So you wouldn't greet somebody like this. Well, you could, I guess. You want to greet them like this. Hey! Okay, here we go. Jumbo, and 1, 2, ready, and
Jumbo, Jumbo Bwana, habari gani, nzuri sana, wageni makaribishwa, Kenya yetu hakuna matata. Jumbo, Jumbo Bwana, habari gani, nzuri sana, wageni makaribishwa, Kenya yetu hakuna matata.
Is it difficult to find non-religious choral pieces, or is most of the repertoire religious in the past, historically? And I know that you do folk songs and popular songs. Do you arrange them yourself, etc.?
We, the history of choral music in many ways came from the church. So if you trace choral music back hundreds of years to where it first originated in Gregorian chant, or even before that, it was religious based. So, and that's carried through to the present day. So a majority of well-known solid choral repertoire comes from the sacred tradition. So, however, there's a whole another pile of repertoire that doesn't fall into that, that's available to us from catalogs, from I frequent conventions such as American Choral Directors Association, where we feature non-sacred music so that directors like me can hear what's out there and we can bring it to the choir. So it's not difficult to find. There's just less of it, but that's changed a lot over the last, especially since I've been a director of choirs the last 15 years. There's just more and more and more. I don't arrange it myself. Sometimes I can, but I don't need to because there's so much available.
Thanks. Yep. Do you have any memories of highlights of your many years here in the Celebration Singers?
Well, when I came on board probably in 1978, and I became very active in '79. That's pretty much when we changed to the Celebration Singers. We had goals. Our overall goals were to have a community chorus, audition community chorus that was not a church choir, better than a church choir, a chorus that was more like an entertaining chorus for the communities. And I think about a few years ago at a retreat, suddenly we sat down and we evaluated things as a group and asked questions, and you come to realize that the goals have been met. And we started just sharpening them. And the goals were that we have this nice large community, friendship relation, no different cliques or elements that sometimes occur within choruses. We have an adult chorus, we have a children's chorus, tuition free, and now we filled in the gap with the teenagers, which is difficult because they have a lot more to do. And they are a very good group. We have other directors, we have assistants, we have very qualified people in the group that are singers and music teachers and other directors to help and assist. And they do it out of the love of music and helping the community. And that's where, I get goosebumps now just saying that we have gotten there.
I've seen you bring some of the members to the elementary schools in Garwood, for example. Is that... can you tell me anything about that? It's always fun to watch.
Were you talking about the holiday?
The holiday concert.
Holiday concerts are fun. I mean, I've been an entertainer in music probably since 10 for some reason or other. I stayed with that, and it's just fun to interact with the people and the kids and the community. The response you get from the audience. I mean, audiences are different, but generally, our variety of music catches everybody. We educate the audience because we also do more difficult numbers that they don't really get to hear if they make the choice. So we might throw one or two in there. They're, classical, more challenging with harmonies, and it's just that's the goal, to educate and give music to the communities.
So your main concerts are spring and winter. Is that correct? Or
That's where we make the money. I mean, that's where we try to make the money to support us. We do have some private sponsors occasionally come out from the different businesses. And it's difficult because it costs a lot to have a facility. We have had people who have gone in and had their own group and perform, out professionally.
do you call this a professional group in particular, or?
Well, we're not paid, but I think we have that professional quality because of the skill and talent that's coming in, because of the more strictness we do in auditioning people. In the past, it's been difficult sometimes to find basses and tenors that have the quality. So as we audition and get to be a larger and better group, we tighten up the skill requirement.
And any final thoughts on the 75th anniversary? When this is broadcast, the gala will probably have already taken place. But any other thoughts about how it's been 75 years and still active as ever?
Well, for me personally, and I've been with the group now for about 12 years, just the fact that we're celebrating 75 years of such a wonderful organization, I truly feel blessed to be part of it, and I'm sure that it's going to keep going for many, many more years because we're constantly growing and reevaluating and seeing where we're at and where we can go. And we just would love more people to become involved and be able to give back to the community even more going into the next 75 years.
One last question. What do you look for people who want to audition?
There's two things that I think are important to be a member here. And one is obviously a level of musicianship where you can feel like you can keep up with rehearsal, be able to learn quickly. Reading music is not a requirement. You don't have to have a music background. You just have to be able to sing, carry a tune, hold a tune, and be able to learn quickly. So the musicianship quality is there. The second piece is we look for a temperament that matches that of the group. We have fun here. As Rick said, we don't. There's not cliques here. I mean, we all come together with that singleness of purpose, and so we're looking for folks that want to be part of a team to do something amazing. And it sounds cliche, but some musicians are looking for more of a strict environment where there's not that social element. And there's a social element here, and that's what makes us a community group. Is we want to encourage that. So if they fit that characteristic, anyone's welcome to audition. And I make it really painless and easy. So anybody that's afraid to audition, it's just me and you in a room, and I just want to listen to see what you have. And if it's a fit, you're welcome. And if it's not a fit, we still love you.
You don't seem too scary to me. So, what is the association with the Lord and Taylors?
Oh, with Lord & Taylor, for the past 3 or 4 years, there was a big nationwide premiere piece that was done at Lord & Taylor during the opening of their Christmas windows in November. It was in conjunction with the youth group in New York City, Young People's Chorus of New York City. And they sent out information to all groups throughout the entire nation at all different Lord & Taylors, and we premiered a piece that was written just for the event with all of those choirs at the same time. And now we've changed a little bit of the role. We now do a fundraiser through Lord & Taylor for the group, and now the group gets to sing there during that fundraising day.
Is it just the children's choir at Lord & Taylor's?
When it was with the Young People's Chorus of New York City, yes. And now we get to sing with the adults, or we have 2 shows if you want to think of it that way. But now it is with the adult choir.
See, how do you guys like when you perform in a department store?
It's interesting.
Is it any different than anywhere else? Do you find it different?
Well, it's kind of different because you're in a department store. It's kind of fun too.
People are shopping around you as you sing.
And there's also people going up escalators.
Have you been into Lord and Taylor performances? Yes. What did you? How did you feel about that?
I like singing in front of people, so I had fun there because there were people from all over the place coming to hear us sing.
I was glad to see people would actually stop to see us instead of walking past us, because then you realize that they actually have an interest in us. So it's good to see that there's people who actually enjoy music and enjoy listening to us.
Are you always looking for more singers, or are you pretty much full at this time?
We're always looking for new singers, always. So come one, come all.
What do you look for in an audition?
Why don't you tell them?
Well, okay, guys, tell me about your auditions and what you did.
Well, they give you a song that you have to sing, and they also can give you some notes to sing, and you also can sing a song that you choose.
When they give you notes, you mean like they play it on the piano and then you have to imitate it or something?
Sort of.
What about you guys? Remember your auditions?
Yes. I was auditioned by the teacher before she started composing the children's choir. He was Tom Pettis, and he was the he did it pretty much the same way. He gave us notes and we had to recite them, and then we were given a piece of paper to see how well we could read music. So he like played it once or twice, and then we had to say it back in the same melody and rhythm. So, but the auditions were, he wanted to test our skill.
And you could read music?
I could, because I've had a long history in music.
Are your parents involved with music?
They're probably the worst singers I've ever met in my life.
Stop, Tom.
But they encourage us to do music and everything. So, yeah.
Do they play instruments? Anything to do with music?
No, not at all.
Are they audience members?
They're audience members.
They
yeah.
love listening to music.
Which is very important.
Yes.
It's unusual that you learned to read music and yet nobody in your family was involved. Did you learn it in school, or just how did you happen to learn music, to read music?
Well, when we were very little, my mom always wanted us to play the piano.
Yeah.
So my neighbor across the street had been a retired music teacher. So we started taking lessons for piano when we were 6.
Yes.
And that's how we started learning.
And unfortunately, she passed away. So then we had we were lucky enough to find a newspaper article about a man who was offering piano lessons, and we kind of went from there. And then, as they say, like a lot of people who take piano are normally gifted with the sound of song. So
I understand that you recently had an addition to your family, and how did that interfere, if at all, with your work here?
Well, I met my husband through Celebration Singers when I was an adult choir member, and that was in 2008 when we started dating.